Good afternoon, readers. Hey, we have made it to December 31st, the last day of the year. Yay! Those who have rocked out with me this year, I'm so thankful to you to be a part of the Avid Readers Unite Book Club. Hopefully, in 2021, more participation. I will see more authors will get to meet and characters we'll get to discuss and talk about. So definitely looking forward to what's going to happen in 2021. Yes. All right. So today we're doing like a book in review of books that we read. Like our first book, which was September, The Ghost Map, which was talking about cholera and how London dealt with trying to solve the problem. Like as we're doing now with our pandemic, COVID-19, we're trying to find how to get a handle on it. And as we know now, there's a vaccine out there. So hopefully that will be for the better. So like in Ghost Map, they were trying to find out where did it start, so they can get a handle on how to fix where it started. So in the book, it talks about we have Dr. John Snow, who really wasn't a scientist, but he was an anesthesiologist. But because he was from that area in London, in that street in which it started, he was very interested in trying to find out how things began so that he can help out. And then there was another doctor, Dr. Whitehead, who he kind of didn't agree with Dr. Snow's findings. And then there was the Board of Governors, who was like our government, gets in the way of the scientists and the doctors. But overall, we come to find out that Dr. Snow was onto something. And he kept talking about the pump handle, which is now in a museum in London, which is where all the people in the town were drinking from. And that's how cholera was getting spread, because of the pump handle, the drinking fountain, because they didn't have an irrigation system. So whatever you went, where you went to the bathroom, where you threw up, everything, where you buried your dead, all of that got intertwined in the drinking system. So that's what that book was about. It read like a mystery. I didn't think at first I was interested in the book jacket. So that's why it led me to read it and pick it for the book group, and because of what we're actually going through right now around the world. But it was a really good read. So if you haven't read it, I suggest that you do pick it up, because it was very good. It read like a mystery if you're into mystery novels. So that has my vote. Then I was gifted this book this year, El Deafo. I currently work with deaf and hard of hearing children, so the person thought I would be interested in this book, and it was interesting. It was about a woman. This is her life story about how she started, how she became deaf. She was hearing, and then she got sick, and she lost her hearing. And we find that, when I come into contact with different deaf and hard of hearing people, that's usually what happens. Some of them get sick. There's some type of incident and causes them to lose their hearing. So this really was a good book on how the community, her school, dealt with her. And just some of the silly things that people do, as far as like yelling loudly, all kinds of things. But she became a superhero for herself, because her teacher had to wear this mic and this pack. And this is something that I use with my students, as well as the teachers who work with our students. We use a mic that when they have their hearing aids on, or some of them have cochlear implants, they get to hear us directly. So from my voice, it goes right to their equipment, and they can hear the information. Those who are able to pick up that information. So this was a funny book, but it also has some seriousness in it. And I really liked her story, in that she was willing to share with us. But I love that she made her situation that having the mic pack was like her superhero. So I kind of really like that. So it was an enjoyable book, and I would definitely recommend this to anyone who's working with children who are deaf and hard of hearing, or adults as well. And if you have family members and you're trying to get through it, this is a book for them, that they can see themselves in a book, and it's not so so sad, so serious. Now the situation is serious, but just letting us know that a person who is deaf and hard of hearing, their language may be different, but they're the same. So it's not a big, separation. So I definitely enjoyed it. I laughed at some of the things that, as you learn and you grow with people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and you're learning the culture. Because that's really what this book was about, culture, and even how her parents had to learn how to really deal with her. And she made friends along the way, because at the end of the day, she still was a little girl who wanted friends, who went to a school. So definitely I would say pick this up. It's an easy read, and it's read like a cartoon. So if you have difficulty sometimes with just reading words in a book, the pictures kind of help. So definitely a good one. Then I picked back up Stephen King, and he wrote this with Richard Chismar. So the first book we read a few months ago was Gwendy's Button Box, and it wasn't as scary. It was interesting with Mr. Harris and the button box, and how he brought the button box back to Gwendy, and how she still used it, but he brought it back because he needed her, because she was such a good steward of the button box. Because it really tells about how he goes around, and it's not just Gwendy, but he gives the box to different people. And at this time, he let her know, you were a good steward of the box, so I brought it back. And with the box, she also found that there was a feather from years ago that brought her good luck. And that feather kind of helped her solve a mystery of missing little girls in the town where her parents were from. So it was like a mystery, kind of book. Had a little some suspense. Some parts made me go, okay, well, but it wasn't so bad. So I think at some point in 2021, I think I'm going to get another Stephen King's book that may be a little deeper and maybe a little scarier. I've also always veered away from Stephen King. But starting with Gwendy's Magic Button Box and now the Magic Feather, I think I can push a little further. And I think I can do it. So 2021, I think I may read a different Stephen King book. So definitely this was good. It was a good second part for the first book. So I would recommend that book to you and others. Okay? All right. Then I reread, remember Thick? So Thick is a book of essays by Tressie McMillan Cottom. I met this woman last year. She's very good in person, very good at explaining her essays, very deep, very knowledgeable, and I love how she'll give you references so that you can dig a little deeper into the book. So I like that. So we read Thick, and Thick was basically for Black women, about Black women. It's about her life. Thick it could be any connotation, meaning like your thick body, your thick, how you're shaped, how loud you are, because that's what she portrayed in her essay. She talked about sometimes Black women have to lessen ourselves so that everyone else around us who are not Black can be comfortable. So if I have a very outgoing personality, sometimes I'll shut myself down just to make sure everyone's comfortable. And that's what she was, talking about in her book. And also how sometimes we have to fix ourselves because there's no support. In the book, she talks about she was born pigeon-toed and bow-legged. So her mother had the opportunity to fix her, get a doctor, and they would have to break her legs and fix her feet, and then her legs would be in cast. But her mother was very afraid at the time to do that. She said she didn't want to hurt her. But in the meantime, as she's walking, she's always telling her daughter, fix yourself, fix your feet. Well, guess what? You should have fixed them for me. Okay? So that's what she was using, different comparisons about that word. She had a lot of good wordplay with thick. So I thought that was a good essay, and I plan to read more of her essays. I like how she is very in your face and straight talk. I like that about her and in this book. So I plan on reading more of her essays in 2021, and I will encourage you to do the same. They're very short essays, but they have a lot of meat to them. So hopefully we may pick another one for 2021 in the group that we can read. So we can, if you don't have the book, please go out and get it, because I think this will be a recurring book, picking an essay or two to discuss within the group. All right. And let's see, one of our last books that it wasn't in a group, but I did read it, by Kristen Hanna, Firefly Lane, which is coming to Netflix very soon. I believe February it's coming to Netflix. But this was a story of two friends and their life from young girls into adulthood, and how they stayed, how their friendship went through a lot, ups and downs, ins and outs. And sometimes it was Tully, and who's the other character? Tully and Kate. So Tully and Kate had to get a handle of herself, because Kate never really, really, really lived her true self, because she always gave in to Tully. Tully was like the boisterous one, and we're gonna do what Tully says. We're gonna do what Tully says. But at the end, Tully finally realized how much she was taking advantage of Kate and Kate's silence. And this is also a lot of different messages and stories about use your voice, say your voice, speak your mind. Don't just sit back and let someone else live their life while you're not living yours. And in some instances, Tully wasn't living her true life either, but her upbringing, a mom that wasn't present or wasn't ready to mother her. But what I liked, the village, Kate's family took Tully in, and they gave her family. But overall, Tully never really understood the word family per se, because she never got the love and attention from her parents. So this is a very, very, very good story. Just about like if you have a good girlfriend, or you don't, or you want to. This is a good book just to show that being with friends and having a good girlfriend or a good friend in general, it takes time and work. It's not easy. Sometimes we will go through ups and downs. Sometimes we will go through life and we may not speak for a while, but then something may bring us back. So Telly and Kate, they went through this battle, with their lives, but they always came back together, because at the end of all things, they truly did love each other, and they had a friendship. And like I said, it's not always, peaches and cream. When you have friends, sometimes you will go through ups and downs, but it was a very good story that kept moving. And that's what I liked about her writing. This was my first time. I'll show the book again. Kristen Hanna. This is my first time reading any of her work, and I plan on reading another book that she has coming out soon. So I definitely plan on revisiting her work, because I was impressed, and she kept my attention. And that's the one thing about authors. I want you to keep my attention. Sometimes, you don't always have a good pick, but it's good to try out different authors so that you're not just stuck in just one genre, and that's what this book club is all about. Reading a variety of authors, getting to meet new people. And the characters, they're my friends, and you get to travel. Like, do the book Firefly Lane, I went to Seattle. Don't know anything about Seattle, but I know I actually have true family that live in Seattle, but I've never been there. But through the book, I may want to travel there, so I write it down in my travel journal. Oh, this is a place I may want to go, because there are some things that I'm quite sure are truly in Seattle that I can look for now. I can refer back to the book that I read. So that's what we use this book for, so that we can travel. Like right now with COVID-19, travel really has been limited. Some people are still traveling, but you have to be cautious and careful. But when everything has gotten better, these are places you can go. And you learned it. Why? Because you read it in a book. So to my readers, I hope that you have enjoyed some of the picks that we have chosen for 2020. And I look forward to more books, more reading, more conversations, more author chats. We had our first author chat last year with Dalton Price, a good friend of mine. He's a local in Patterson, where I live in New Jersey. And it was the Guide to Community Policing 3.0. And we had a great book chat, which is now discussion with him will be a 4-day book series. We're picking different topics within the book, and we're going to have chats about them and see how we really can move forward. A lot of unrest and a lot of racial injustice has been going on this past year, along with this pandemic. a lot of things. And, people are just tired. But they also have shown that they want to do something, want to be better. If you want to have better, you have to be about what's going on. So this book was really a good help, and it was a really good conversation. I hope you caught it. I hope you caught the conversation. But we will be having a 4-day book series. Information will be coming soon. We're going to start next month in January. The information will be posted within the group, on Facebook, and on our YouTube channel, Linda Miller Reads. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, where we will have everything of announcements, book chats, book reviews, all on it. Okay, so please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. I hope that I will see you more in 2021 with all of this reading and book discussions. Once again, I want to say that I am definitely happy that you're here, that you decided that you wanted to be a part of this particular group. There's so many book groups that have popped up in the last year, and I'm so happy that you, the avid readers, have decided to be a part of this group. You are what make this group better, because you can't discuss by yourself. You need another partner so that you can discuss. And also, your likes, your choices help broaden my horizons as far as new authors for me. So I look forward to seeing you in the group and helping me meet new authors through your choices. Okay? So I will see you in the new year. And as I always say, as always, happy reading. Goodbye.